I'm retired, 100%. Oh, come on.
You are watching the Jermell Charlo workout here in Houston. Jermell from right here, the native son of Houston, Texas, hitting the heavy bag. The undisputed super welterweight champion of the world matches up against Canelo Álvarez on Saturday, September 30th on SHOWTIME pay-per-view. It is Canelo and Charlo for the undisputed super middleweight championship of the world. Jermell Charlo looking to become the second man to be undisputed champion in 2 weight divisions. He is looking to further his legacy against Canelo Álvarez, and make no mistake about it, Jermell Charlo is locked in with his head trainer, Derek James, the trainer of the year last year. Also, Juan Guzman, former world champion, looking on as well. So we will allow you to continue to check out the Jermell Charlo workout. I will have a breakdown with the WWE Hall of Famer Booker T in a few moments, as Booker from right here in Houston, having been all over the world as a WWE Hall of Famer and also former WCW heavyweight champion of the world. And Booker, you know, I mentioned the fact that you were former WCW heavyweight champion of the world. You know what it's like to put championship gold around your waist. You know, with that, it comes a certain level of distinction, of pride. People look at you differently. How do you handle that?
You know, as far as fans go,
like with Jermell Charlo, how do you think he's handling it? Like, how you handle it?
Well, I think you can't read your own press clippings. You can't look at yourself in the mirror and wink at yourself and think that you are actually that guy, because there's so much more work still yet to be put in it. When you're not working, somebody else is. And if you think, you can rest on your laurels for one moment, that's when everything is going to go away. So I think just being humble, staying in that place to where, it's not about me, it's about getting the job done day in and day out, literally having that mentality where there's no days off. That's the only way you can stay at the top.
So with that, does it come with higher expectations? Because, okay, you go there and you win a championship. He's won undisputed super welterweight championship of the world, did it in impressive fashion. But now there is an expectation in which fans, the media, and yourself, you expect to exceed those expectations. How do you deal with that?
It's really hard to deal with other people's expectations. You can only deal with yours. I mean, Jermell, he's won, of course, but he's lost also. He knows what it feels like to actually lose. So in a fight like this, he knows, how important it is. He knows exactly what's on the line. He knows that a fight like this is a life-changing moment. Once it happens, it's going to be over, and it perhaps may never happen again. That's the only thing that could really keep you locked in and dialed in to make that walk down that aisle, or to face that man across from you. Because one thing you got to understand, that guy across from you, he's thinking the exact same thing.
So does that make him more dangerous because of the fact that he does want to be able, this is a life-changing opportunity for him. Jermell's already done very well financially in this sport with everything he's accomplished, but to be able to have this moment and to be able to defeat the great Canelo Álvarez, how dangerous does this make Jermell?
Come on, that's that Lions mentality. He's going to be dangerous, by any stretch of the imagination. He's going to go out there and he's going to be able to perform, but there again, performing at that level to where you got to be laser focused. You got to be able to block out all the noise, all that white noise got to go to the side, as well as there again, you got a guy throwing punches at you, so you got to definitely keep your eyes on the prize. But as far as a guy that's, when I look at him, I'm watching him hit the bag. When I look at him, he seems like he's laser focused. He seems like he's, more calm that he's ever been. The pressure doesn't seem like it's affecting him or anything like that. And I think that right there in itself is a dangerous fighter.
I think that for Jermell Charlo, you could just tell that he is in such a good place mentally, and I think it's going to show in his performance on September 30th. He is one of those guys that rises to the occasion, and I certainly believe that he is more than up to the task when he takes on Canelo on September 30th.
You just said the word rise to the occasion. Every time Jermell Charlo's been knocked down, he's picked himself back up, and he's come back, and he's gone out and win, and not just win, he's gone out and win in grand fashion. And on Saturday, September 30th, against Canelo Álvarez, a guy there again, 59-2. It's not going to be easy by any stretch of the imagination, but if anybody can get it done, I think it's Jermell Charlo. This fight right here is a fight that I don't think any of us ever thought would come to fruition, but on September 30th, it's here, and it's going to be a dynamite. It's going to be a knockdown drag.
People talk about old school throwback fighters many times, and it's almost something that we kind of pound to the pulpit and we beat like a drum. Jermell Charlo is a throwback fighter. I don't ever remember him turning down any opportunity. He's always been the one to initiate who he wants. I want that guy. I want the baddest man on the planet. When he fought Jason Rosario back 3 years ago in this pay-per-view maiden voyage, along with his brother Jermell Charlo, who fought Sergey Derevyanchenko at Mohegan Sun during COVID times. No fans were allowed in the building, but he wanted that opportunity against Jason Rosario, and he put him away with a piercing body shot.
Not to mention an undefeated Erickson Lubin. A kid who had dynamite in both hands, and he went out there and got him out of there, boom, with one shot. So he packs dynamite in both hands. This fight against Canelo Álvarez, you talk about, Charlo being a throwback, as well as Canelo Álvarez. Both of these guys are throwback fighters, and to see them both in the middle of the ring at this stage in Las Vegas on the 30th is going to be a night to remember for all.
I want to bring back a point about, you talked about, when you're at this level that you can't read your own press clippings.
Yes.
Absolutely understandable. But do you read things where, Jermell is the underdog coming into this fight? He alluded to it. Does that motivate him? Does that add fuel to his fire? I don't think he needs anything more, but do you think that it adds a little extra oomph to what he's doing?
To be honest, I always knew that I was good in professional wrestling. I never thought about the championships or anything like that. But when you're good, I got to say, it's all about checks and championships, baby. No, and that's what Jermell Charlo has gone throughout his career, not because of anything else other than he's just that good. Give him credit for that.
Well, I love what you just said. It's all about checks and championships. I mean, is that not the epitome of what it is to be a prize fighter, an elite level athlete?
It is, but that is the epitome, checks and championships. But that will never happen if you're not truly the best, and that's what Jermell Charlo is.
Well, for this particular fight, you have two guys in Canelo. I think Canelo is looking to come out in this fight and try to prove something, because people are saying, has the true greatness of Canelo diminished a little bit? And I think that's why Canelo said, you know what, I want Jermell Charlo. And Jermell Charlo, I probably took him like 20 seconds to say yes.
Of course, Canelo Álvarez has something to prove. I mean, that Dimitri Bivol fight was a beatdown. It really was. And Canelo Álvarez knows he's a much better fighter than that. He was fighting a much bigger guy at that time as well, and that step up for him was a huge step up. But do Canelo Álvarez want to be redeemed? Of course he wants to be redeemed. But on Saturday, September 30th, I'm just wondering, is this the wrong guy to step in there to get it done with as far as this kid Charlo? Because this kid has come a long way. I've watched this kid's career, and I remember talking to Jermell Charlo once, and I said, I wasn't a believer in the beginning in the Charlo brothers.
You weren't?
No,
okay.
That's what I told him. I said, I wasn't a believer. But over the time, both of those brothers made me believers in their performances each and every time they went out to that ring.
Well, I just love the fact that Jermell mentioned, he goes, my brother Jamal started before I did. And they are still, look, I have a younger brother, who's in this business from an announcer standpoint, Miguel. There's nothing like, working with your family, no matter what it is. I mean, obviously, you guys are athletes. We are not. But there's nothing like working with your brother, being a part of something with your brother. Jermell certainly feeds off of Jamal and vice versa.
Well, I mean, I started with my brother, of course, the Harlem Heat. And I know I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my brother. Just like Jermell may be thinking, I think that all the time. I always say I'm living my brother's dream, being at the top, spot here in professional wrestling, something I never thought about when I was a kid. My brother motivated me and pushed me towards this, and this is the outcome of it. But I watched those two brothers, Jermell and Jamal. They've not did it, this journey, but they've done it together. Both of these guys are champions. Both of these guys represent Houston, and not just represent Houston, but in the utmost way, these two guys represent Houston. I give them a lot of credit. I'm proud of both of those guys.
Certainly Lions only. Great to see Jermell Charlo.